Using OEB law when you have an accident is easier than a hockey player using a microwave, transferring a call, going to the dentist.
The money you need, get the money you want. Call
DJ here, and I'm going to give you some hot topics with one of the finest lawyers at OEB Law, Michael Bernard. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me, DJ.
Absolutely, man. I didn't think I was going to get this interview. I've been tugging and pulling, and I finally got you. So thanks for making a little bit of time. I know you're a busy man.
Yeah, you're welcome.
What's one of the biggest misconceptions people have about hiring a lawyer?
Well, I don't know if it's a misconception, but to me, oftentimes people hire attorneys to give advice, and they feel like that's why they're hiring an attorney, is so they can get advice from the attorney. I think that's true. You hire an attorney to give you advice with a situation you may be unfamiliar with, but you also hire an attorney to explain complex issues to you. As you said, a lot of times litigating cases is complex, it's confusing. There are many different overlapping issues. And so most people, when they retain an attorney, are unfamiliar with that particular subject, at least more unfamiliar with than the lawyer is. So in addition to giving somebody advice, I think that a good lawyer can explain these complicated issues and complicated topics to their clients in such a way that the client understands what's going on with their case. And so I don't know if that's a misconception, but I feel like if a client doesn't understand what's happening, maybe their lawyer could do a better job explaining it to them.
Awesome. Well, that makes sense to me. So let's go set the tone a little bit. Michael, tell us a little bit about your journey. What inspired you to become a lawyer, and how did that bring you to Knoxville?
Well, I'm born and raised in Knoxville, and I went to Tennessee for my undergrad, and then went to the West Coast and ended up at University of Oregon for law school. So after that, I came back to Knoxville in order to be closer to my family, closer to my roots, and fell in with OEB Law, who does mostly personal injury work. At least my practice here is almost entirely in personal injury work. And so coming back to OEB in 2010 was like coming home for me. And it was almost like coming full circle. Here I am back in Knoxville, and I haven't left yet. So that's kind of how I got to OEB. And when you come out of law school, I don't know that people know exactly what they want to do, but I'm thankful that we do personal injury work here. I've always been thankful that the type of lawyer that I've become, we represent people as opposed to companies or corporations. And so it's a lot easier for me to relate to people than it is for companies. So I'm happy to be here.
Absolutely. So tell me, what's unique about practicing law in Knoxville, and what makes the community special to you?
Well, Knoxville is what I call a big, small town. And if you walk into a restaurant, you might not know somebody in that restaurant, but likely somebody in that restaurant knows somebody that you know. And so it's a community. Even though it's a large, small town, I feel like the Knoxville itself is a community. In addition, practicing here, the bar, we get along with each other, and we try to litigate cases in a professional manner. And so I like the community here.
Absolutely. What's some legal advice? We know legal advice isn't one size fit all. But if you can give one piece of advice to everyone watching today, what would it be?
Well, like you said, there's no one size fits all. My practice is almost entirely personal injury, car wrecks, slip and falls, workplace injuries, things of that nature. And what that leads me to is dealing with insurance companies a lot. And insurance laws differ from state to state. So what may be true in Tennessee could be false in California. So I think one principle that does apply across the board is that regardless of where you are, if you have a question for an attorney, my advice is to call an attorney.
So, what sets your firm apart from others and makes it a standout choice for clients?
Yeah, so as I said earlier, I'm so thankful to be here in East Tennessee and representing people from the region of the country that I'm from. And I think what sets us apart is that we are entirely local. We're from here and we understand the people of this region. And I think that there's a big benefit to that, whereas some other firms may be good firms, but they're not located here in Knoxville. You couldn't go down to their office and schedule a meeting to meet with them usually. And I find that that sort of face-to-face interaction, or at least that personality that can be tailored to people who understand Tennesseans and East Tennesseans in particular.
No, that's perfect. That's perfect. So Knoxville may not be as big as a New York City or a Los Angeles, but what can the rest of the country learn from how we approach legal issues here?
I've never practiced in New York City. I've never practiced in Los Angeles. So I'm not exactly sure what it's like to practice in those areas. However, being here in East Tennessee is a smaller community. The lawyers that work here are familiar with one another. We're familiar with the judges. And so I think over time that becomes a benefit where we know how to work with one another in order to either try a case or get a case resolved. I don't know in New York City or Los Angeles or Chicago or the super big markets how familiar you can be because there's just so much volume of people and of cases. So I'd say that here in East Tennessee, we have a great legal community, and I'm happy to be part of it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Oh, perfect, man. I love that. So let's get off the national stuff. Let's do some personality. Let's do a call to action. What do you enjoy most about being a lawyer? And how does that passion translate to you helping others?
The thing I enjoy most about being an attorney is helping people, uh, again, with complex issues that they may not have familiarity with. And every case is different. At the end of the day, when a case resolves, whether it's through a trial or a settlement, if the client expresses appreciation to the attorney, that makes our job worth doing. We're here for you, and we don't exist without our clients. So I really enjoy representing people of East Tennessee, and that's what makes it worth it for me, is that I know at the end of the day, hopefully I've done some good or helped some good come out of a bad situation. And I'm thankful that I get to represent people and not insurance companies. Yeah, if somebody would like to get in contact with me or has any questions about a legal matter, give us a call. I prefer talking over the phone. I'm old school. Our telephone number is 865-546-1111. Even if we can't help you, I'm happy to try to steer you in the right direction and maybe find you somebody that can help you. So that's what I'd say, is that if you need some legal advice or just any other information, feel free to give us a call. We're here every day, 865-546-1111.
Absolutely. Michael, man, I appreciate you taking the time to join me here. I know I had some questions that was a little bit off there. And I remember when I asked you, I was like, hey, I'm not going to give you the questions ahead of time because I want it to be as organic as possible. I want the people to know how real you are, right? And you did great, man. You answered the questions proper the way that they need to hear. So I'm excited about putting this out there and letting people meet the man, the myth, the legend, Michael Bernard here at OEB Law.
Yeah, thanks, DJ. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much. Is there anything else you want to tell the people before we break off of here?
You know, I think that I've been doing this for 15 years. I've handled thousands of injury cases. If there's one thing you can do to protect yourself, it's to get uninsured motorist coverage on your car insurance policy. I think through our own research, probably 25% of drivers in East Tennessee have no car insurance whatsoever. So it's a really important coverage that you have, and not everybody understands that. Uninsured motorists, I think in 15 years, that's what I tell all my friends and family members when they ask me what I've learned, is that uninsured motorist coverage is extremely important to protect yourself and your family members. So I'd say add that to your policy. And if you ever have any questions before you talk to an insurance company, call an attorney and make sure that that's the right way to go about doing things.
Perfect. Again, Michael, I appreciate you guys. You just met Michael Bernard. As you heard him say, he does a lot of personal injury cases. If you have any legal questions, make sure you reach out to the firm, 865-546-1111, or you can also hit the .com, and that is www.recintoacheck.com. We'd love to turn your rec into a check. Again, any legal questions, comments, concerns, do not hesitate to reach out to OEB Law. Michael Bernard will be available and ready to answer all your questions. Thank you guys for joining in. And until next time, stay safe. And we are always ready to turn your rec into a check.
At OEB Law, our home is your home, giving back and helping out whenever needed. OEB Law is proud to be from East Tennessee. OEB Law feels like home.